Hi, you guys. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's Allie Wilkins. If it's your first time here, welcome. I am a priestess, an oracle, a seer, a writer, and essentially I teach all about how we activate our highest full spectrum feminine energy. And I'm just really obsessed with the goddess mysteries and with stepping into our highest potential and our soul missions. That's what this whole channel is about. So make sure you subscribe if you want to watch a bunch of different videos about that. I have tons of videos here, and I make new videos every week. So if you're coming back, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about Sekhmet. Sekhmet is an Egyptian goddess. She's a lioness, a lion-headed goddess. And I think that a lot more people get to be working with her. She's so misunderstood. People are afraid of her. I want to just introduce her energy, number one, because I can feel her frequency and energy so thick this summer in the world. I've been hearing people joking, saying, like, this summer, particularly, like, we don't have a summer theme song. We don't have, like, a theme for the summer itself because everything is just like, hey, let's hopefully not go into World War III and, like, how can we reconcile everything shitty that's happening right now in the world between climate crisis, between what ICE is doing, between racism in so many different places and white supremacy and like religious supremacy rising and women's rights being differentiated across different states in the United States at least and across the entire world and hearing about like we're just like, can we just live? And Sekhmet is like here breathing with her hot breath, her devouring growl like rippling through the frequency of the planet, and she wants more people to be working with her. And so that's why I'm making this video, and also why I'm going to be leading a class all about her this weekend. You can get the replay later, but it will be more expensive. It's best if you want to feel her frequency, it's going to be best if you sign up now and come live. But like I said, the class will be available. And I want to just use this YouTube video here to talk a bit about Sekhmet and to change the stereotype of working with her. And if you feel called to go deeper, definitely get the class. It's $33. She is phenomenal to work with. So I'd love to see you guys in the class as well. But the stereotype of Sekhmet is that she's terrifying and scary. That's the stereotype of all of the dark goddesses. However, each of them have a different frequency, right? Like Lilith, I work with a lot of dark goddesses. I'm very comfortable in that frequency, and I teach a lot about the dark feminine, so I sort of have to be, and I have to understand their different, like what you work with different goddesses for, right? Lilith is for like a very specific range of frequencies that relate usually to sovereignty, authenticity, breaking through shackles, right? Hecate has a different energy. She's much more underlying. She's not gonna necessarily like speak to you in a very direct way. She will, but it's like different than the other goddesses. She has a much more underground frequency. If you're working with Kali, she's ripping the rug out from under you. She's with so much love. She's like very primal and wild, and like the yogi that lives in the outskirts of India in the jungles, that people are afraid to go into the jungle to visit her because she's so like wild and ruthless. And Sekhmet has a totally different frequency than all of those. My experience of Sekhmet is that you work with her, number one, to amplify your highest power that's rooted in your source, not that's rooted from anything external. And all of the dark goddesses are going to be like that. But Sekhmet's name literally means incarnate power. So when you work with her, you're raising your power frequency. But power, oftentimes when people are talking about it or teaching it, it's from the perspective of ego. It's either power over others, learning how to manipulate energy to have power over others, which my whole system is just like, no, it's a hard no for me. And it's because there's a much more aligned, deeper aspect of understanding how to work with the energetics of power. Sekhmet will teach you that. She teaches internally sourced power. So when you work with her, she will devour. She will ravenously feed on you. But this is where people don't understand. The stereotype is that she's just gonna, because there's a myth about her that basically is that she's the daughter of Ra, and he sent her down to kind of govern the people because they were like being crazy and like and bringing chaos into the realm and like gonna destroy everything basically. And so she came down to essentially destroyed all of the people or was starting to do that. And they're like, whoa, we've got to rein her back in. We're going to talk about this myth a lot more in the class. That's just a little It's kind of like you on your angriest day ever. It's not a full image of who Sekhmet is. And when you understand how to actually work with her and you understand her intricacies, what she likes, what she doesn't like, what will set her off, what will what will have you experience working with her as a more maternal, loving energy that's softer to the touch, it brings an entirely new experience. And essentially, she wants to feed on your fear. She wants to feed on your misalignment. So I work with her on a daily basis. If I'm scared about something, if I'm in fear, I'm like, here, Sekhmet, here's a sandwich. Here's my fear sandwich. Here, eat this fear, please. Take this away from me. And I feel it tangibly in my body. When you're working with her proactively like that, this would apply to a lot of the dark goddesses. If you work with them proactively, you're going to have a very different relationship with them because it's like if you're in a relationship and somebody waits until you've already dumped them, you've already asked for the divorce, then they're like, well, now I'll change. You're like, I don't, versus someone like, how do we fix this? I want to protect this. That's the difference in how we should be working with the dark goddesses. It shouldn't, and the first time we always learn the hard time. So if you're like, damn, I just had someone rip the rug out from, like, it's fine. It's happened to all of us. Like, but the more that that happens, the more familiar we become with these dark goddesses, the more we understand I have to work with her proactively. That's where she's going to be so beneficial. And that's what Sekhmet does. And she comes in with this like hot, fiery breath that when when she's coming. That being said, I think that we should be working with her on a much more daily aspect. And I think that what I really wanted to bring in here is that for visionaries, for way showers, for people with spiritual power, for healers, she is going to protect you in every realm. She's going to protect you in the 3D. She's going to protect you in the 5D and the 8D, all of it. She is a guide that we need to have because a lot of us don't have enough protection. We can learn how to protect ourselves, but why would we not want to add more protectors onto our spiritual, I call it our cosmic support team. So when we work with Sekhmet, that's what she is bringing. She protected the pharaohs. The pharaohs installed statues of her because if you've seen any Sekhmet statue, you understand her statues are living. They hold so much energy. I've never seen with any other deity. I cry every time I see a statue of Sekhmet. I'm about to go see one in person and I'm like so excited I can't even contain myself. But yeah, she's a daughter of Ra. She was a protector of the pharaohs. She's the Eye of Ra. She serves as the protector of the pharaoh. Like, do we understand? So why would you not want her on your support team? Why would you not want her protecting you? Right? That being said, she also is not going to, like, she's not for people, she won't even work with you if you're someone who's out of integrity. She's not even going to touch you if you're someone who avoids, um, like, you're not going to qualify to be in her space. She is likely going to come to you for the first time when you are in a time of a deep ego death, maybe your first dark night of the soul. She's going to come to you when there is divine change at hand. When there is deep change that requires an ego death in order for you to get through it, and she will be there to support you in that if you work with her proactively. Otherwise, it's going to be more of like a Kali frequency that's like, hey, I'm going to take this away from you. I'm going to take this away from you because you're not listening and these things need to happen because you have a soul mission and like you're not supposed to be with that person anymore, or like you can't be at this job anymore. I've tapped your shoulder 70,000 times and you're not listening, so you made me do it. You made it be super hard, right? This is how the dark goddesses sort of operate. And Sekhmet wants to support you through divine change. She wants to support you in being in your highest soul rooted power possible. I call her a devourer. She will devour anything that's out of alignment. Her purpose is really to uphold balance and justice. And she's sort of the other side of the coin of goddess Hathor, who is more of a fertility goddess. She's more about love and abundance and empress re, if you will, like queen type energy. She's running the entire civilization essentially, but she's beautiful and luscious and nurturing and sensual. And Sekhmet is her other side that is like the, in quotes, dark side of her that's ravenous and wrathful. She's the side of us that comes out when our Hathor aspect is filled with rage, basically, or needs to uphold divine order, needs to uphold justice and balance. So if we're operating in our Hathor without Sekhmet, we are not complete in our energy. A lot of people are afraid of their own Sekhmet energy, which is your life force. It is the deeply rooted power that exists within you. And most people are working with power in a completely different paradigm that is ego based, that is mind based, that's not rooted in our primordial power. That is what Sekhmet teaches us. So when we're working with her as a guide, she will come with a devouring frequency, and you have to be fine with that. It's just a matter of understanding how to work with her. So if you like any of the dark goddesses like Kali or the Morrigan or any of these or Durga, any of these goddesses that come in with a very, with skulls around their neck, they're actually representing, like with Kali, for example, I always talk about her in reference to like you'll hear her skull necklace banging as she's coming up to your door, and you better answer the door when she knocks, because if you ignore any of the dark goddesses, they're going to kick your door down, they're going to set your house on fire to get you to pay attention to what they're saying. It's just a matter of how long it's going to take you to learn how to work with them hand in hand to realize, oh, she's actually my friend. Oh, she's actually trying to get me to be in my highest iteration of self. She's not just coming in destroying shit for no reason. She wants me to be in my highest alignment. So when we can learn how to work with the dark goddesses with this mentality, like, oh, let me actually work with her proactively, this is where your life will really start to change, and where your relationship to not only your own shadow, but to your, what I call full spectrum feminine energy, really emerges. Because if you're hiding from the dark goddesses, you haven't even met half of yourself yet. We have to be able to explore ourselves in every single dimension, which is the purpose of all of my work with the ancient feminine, to teach us in a really intricate way how we do this to complement our unique soul blueprint. So you do it in your own way, not a cookie cutter way. So with Sekhmet particularly, she has a different frequency than Kali. She has a different frequency than Durga. She has a different frequency than the Morrigan or any other dark goddess. Sekhmet feels to me like she can work with any frequency. And this is why she's been on my specific support team. Like I work with her every single day. I've been traveling for the last year. I bring her everywhere I go, a physical statue of her, because I just feel like she is so incredibly powerful. And for those of us with spiritual power who are operating in multiple dimensions, she is perfect to be on our support team because she protects us in the 3D and in every other dimension. She is she is protecting us in a large spectrum of frequencies that I don't find that many other goddesses that can. I work with Lilith all the time, but she works with like a certain spectrum of energies. I'm not going to ask Lilith to bring me into alignment. That's not what her like job is, right? Sekhmet is like, hey, I'm going to make sure that you stay in alignment with your highest power source, that you stay in alignment with what is going to uphold your highest power, essentially. So if she comes in, when she comes in the first time, it's really going to depend on your reaction to her, if you're afraid of her or not. When I first worked with her in 2020, my entire life was flipping inside out and upside down. I broke up with my fiance, who I had been with for 8 years. I moved to the opposite side of the country. I changed my entire business. I was already doing my soul mission, but I was working in a more entrepreneurial aspect. Now I work more on the spiritual aspect. And I, at the same time, also was getting attuned to the Akashic records, and that alone will just flip your life inside out and upside down and bring you into supreme alignment. And Sekhmet was there the whole time. But because I worked with her in a really proactive way, and because I just something in me knew not to be afraid of her, probably because I remembered her from other lifetimes and from being devoted to her before, she helped me so much getting through a massive dark night of the soul. Oh, I also met my twin flame. Like, I'm talking full body ego death. Like, everything in my life changed and transformed. And Sekhmet was there holding my hand the entire time. So she's really good. I work with her with clients all the time. And most of the time when people come in for like mentorship with Sekhmet, it's going to be related to divine transformation, like divinely aligned change. That's often when she's going to come in the first time. This could look like divorce. This could look like changing a career you've had for a really long time. It could look like a lot of different things, but it's going to be something that's really deep at your core. She's working with things that you're going to basically have to have an ego death in order for that change to occur. And it's like you want her there holding you in that transformation. She is so beneficial and so protective. So I wanted to share this here because I'm going to be teaching a class this weekend, July 20th on Sunday, called the Sekhmet Experience, where I'm going to be talking about who Sekhmet is, who she is today in the modern world. We're going to be looking at how to work with her or how to deepen your existing relationship with her. So if it's your first time and you've just like heard about Sekhmet and you're like, okay, this is the 10th time I've heard about her. I need to come to this class. Like, I keep getting signs about her or I'm curious, definitely listen to that. Will be a $33 answer for you, like super affordable and life changing. Or if you already work with some Sekhmet, but you're like, well, I want to have a deeper relationship. I want to like go to the next level with her, or I know there's a higher attunement of power. You also will want to come to this class. It's going to include a class, like I said, where we're talking about her history and her mystery, who she is throughout time, how she shifts throughout time, how what her purpose is here in the modern world, what she's trying to work with us in the collective, but also internally, personally for ourselves. We're going to be also be talking about how to develop a relationship with her, whether it is your first time working with her or whether you already have an established relationship with her. We're going to take it to the next level, and we're going to do that through an Akashic Records journey in the Temple of Sekhmet, where you're going to receive specific attunements just for you to activate your next iteration of high power. Sekhmet's name means incarnate power. It means the powerful feminine, power itself. So we're going to be doing an attunement into your next level of your highest power. And Sekhmet is going to be facilitating that. It's going to be really beautiful. If you're seeing this after that date, you can get the replay of it. If you desire something more private, I'm also doing 25% off Akashic Record readings with Sekhmet just for this month in July of 2025. And I only have 3 more spaces left for that. So make sure that you book that like immediately. If you want to do it, you can use the coupon code Akashic25. Just book the signature Akashic Record session and just let me know in there that you're doing the Sekhmet thing, that you want to work with Sekhmet specifically. She's incredibly profound in the Akashic Records. I've worked with her so often with people in single sessions and also in longer term mentorships with just Sekhmet, where we're supporting the understanding, the integration of massive major change that has happened in someone's life. or that is happening or that you can even sense is about to happen, she's incredible. So if you're interested in an Akashic Records journey, you can book that. I'll have all the links below. Also, Sekhmet is going to be governing this next round of Realm of the Dark Feminine. And I'm going to be doing a really special package. You'll hear about that if you join the Sekhmet class, where it's sort of like a blend of mentorship with Sekhmet, and then also you'll get the whole Realm of the Dark Feminine offering that we're going to be starting. August 24th is when the doors are going to be, when we're going to have our first call for that. So, yeah, there's lots of fun stuff coming up with Sekhmet, but join the class if you're interested or curious about more of it. I'll be talking more in detail about the other things there at the end of the class, and you'll receive an attunement in the records that you can listen to over and over and over again. You could listen to it in 5 years and still get just as much value from it as you'll get from it in the class. So, that being said, I hope that this kind of gave you a little bit of a different perspective of Sekhmet, that she's not this like scary beast that you're like afraid to summon. She acts as a warm, loving, motherly energy, protecting her divine children who are here to bring justice, harmony, and balance to the collective. She's not going to work with everybody. She does have standards. But those of you who are in my soul family watching this YouTube video, like, if you feel called to her, come to the class because you're going to learn a lot more about her and about how she wants to work with you particularly. So, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below. If you have any questions, you can comment that as well and then give it a thumbs up just so more people can see it and this message around Sekhmet can get spread out to more people. So, thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next video and wishing you a beautiful week, life, eternity. That's all. Bye.